In this installment, we're going to be going over the NBA bets for Friday, January 17th. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to bring you the winning ingredients for our Friday, January 17th NBA slate we got going on. But before we deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. So I'm not going to have to be saying that. Yeah, so scratch the TikTok, all right? No TikTok, all right? Don't forget about the Patreon. Right now, we're at the homepage of the YouTube channel, currently at 8.91 thousand subscribers. This is the road to 10K. We're well on our way because you guys are showing up each and every single day. If you're already subscribed, continue to like and comment. It helps the YouTube algorithm so we can grow to a much broader audience. All right. And speaking of that Patreon, we had an absolutely phenomenal night last night here with our NBA plays and college basketball. We had Tennessee covered that 11.5. We had the community parlay here. We had two of them hit. New York Knicks, Grizzlies, Hornets, and Lakers. That cashed for plus 428. Lakers by itself. Hornets and Warriors combination at plus 174. Warriors and Lakers combination at plus 113. And our next community parlay came through with Tyrese Maxey, Brunson, Bridges for 2 threes, and Brunson for 2 threes there. That was at plus 246. So absolutely phenomenal night in NBA and college basketball last night. If you want more winning plays, you click on that link provided down below. You get connected. You're getting access to daily bets, future bets, and access to that group chat that goes up 24/7. I'm so excited to announce I have partnered with BetStamp and SIGNUP Expert to provide you guys with an easier way to sign up with any sportsbook in your area. If you go to the link in the description down below, you will be directed to this page you see here. It automatically displays all available sportsbooks in your area plus their current promotions. For example, you could take the plays given in this video and apply it to any other sportsbooks you don't currently have and reap the rewards. Now let's get into the slate. First up in Pfizer form here, Milwaukee Bucks 22-17 going up against the Toronto Raptors 10-31. Looking at the current odds for this game, we have the Bucks here as huge home favorites minus 650 with the comeback of the Raptors at a plus 450. Point spread set at 11.5. Total points here set at 231.5. For the injury report here for both of these teams, looking at the Toronto Raptors, Emmanuel Quickley is going to be out yet again. And then Ochai Agbaji is going to be a game time decision here. So waiting on news about Ochai here, their guard. Milwaukee Bucks here dealing with a few injuries, few game time decisions. Right now, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a game time decision. That's new to the injury report. Andre Jackson, game time decision. Chris Middleton, game time decision. And Gary Trent Jr. So this team could be without a couple guys here. It could be without Giannis Antetokounmpo. That would hurt them, obviously. Looking at the season series right now, this is the third and final matchup between these two teams. Both games went towards the Milwaukee Bucks, and both games were double-digit wins, all right? One game went under, second game went over, and as you can see here, 14-point win and a 24-point win here. We have the line in Milwaukee set at 11.5 and a very high total at 231.5, all right? So, now, for these two teams here, Bucks have been playing phenomenal basketball. They had a poor stretch after the NBA Cup, and then they turned things on. And now they're really red hot here, winning 4 out of the last 5 games. Just blew out Orlando and Sacramento. And now going up against Toronto here. Toronto's coming in a little bit strong. They won over the Golden State Warriors and blew out the Boston Celtics as well at home. This game is going to be a road game here. This team is getting healthy. They have everyone pretty much in their starting 5 without Emmanuel Quickley here. But as long as you got Scotty Barnes, that was the key. This team was missing Scotty Barnes for the majority of the season. He's back, and he really is a huge X factor. And that tells me a lot here. In the third final matchup, you already lost to this team twice. There is no holds bar here. I like the points for the Raptors. I think it's too many points here for the Raptors with Scotty Barnes. I'm seeing how they're playing with him, with Grady Dick, and with RJ Barrett. Though that combination, those three together, has been very formidable here, and you saw that in the Golden State Warriors game and in the Boston Celtics game. So give me the Raptors on a plus 11.5, and for the total, I'm going to go with the under 231.5. In CryptoArena.com here, we have the LA Lakers 21-17 going against the Brooklyn Nets here 14-27. Looking at the current odds for this game, very similar to that Milwaukee Bucks and Raptors game here. Lakers minus 650 on the money line with the comeback of the Nets at a plus 450. Point spread at 11.5. Total points at 218.5. For the injury report here, Brooklyn Nets game time decision on Cam Johnson. Trendon Watford is going to be game time decision. Bojan Bogdanovic is going to be game time decision, and no Cam Thomas and no Maxwell Lewis. All right, Cam Thomas is really that key factor here for this Brooklyn Nets team as well. If Cam Johnson is not able to play, that does not bode well for this offense as well here for the Brooklyn Nets. LA Lakers dealing with a few outs here. Christian Wood out and Jalen Hood Schifino out. Dorian Finney-Smith, game time decision. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are game time decisions. They're always game time decisions, and they usually play. All right, so for these two teams here, Brooklyn Nets have been getting absolutely smoked as of late. They did get a win over Portland, but got blown out by over like 50 points against the LA Clippers. Close loss against Utah Jazz, and then a blowout loss against Detroit and Denver. My LA Lakers playing okay. Below average, really. Loss against Dallas, which was embarrassing, and then a blowout loss against San Antonio. They're trying to get things right here with this win over Miami Heat that just occurred, and I think they're going to turn things around here. That stretch with all these losses was when obviously the wildfires in LA is really hitting this team hard right now, to the coach all the way down to the players here. So obviously horrible situation there in LA. But this is a team in the Brooklyn Nets that you can 100% take advantage of, and all the values here is going to be on the LA Lakers. Yes, it's a high point spread, but the way that the Nets are playing right now, especially without their key guys, they can't put up points here, and it really becomes a very ugly environment. I can see the LA Lakers really turning up the heat on them. So give me the Lakers money line, Lakers to cover the 11.5, and give me the under 218.5. I do not see this Nets team putting up that many. They struggled to get 70 points in that game against the Clippers. They only had 67 points in that game. Horrible, putrid performance. I expect them to play a little bit better, but still, Lakers bread and butter here is going to be defensively with the bigs down low, and I see this game going under 218.5. In Madison Square Garden here, we have the New York Knicks 27-15 going against the Minnesota Timberwolves 21-19 here. Looking at the current odds for this game, New York Knicks home favorites minus 175 on the money line with the comeback of the Timberwolves at a plus 145. Point spread at a 3.5, and the total points at 220.5. All right. Injury report here for both of these teams. Big news on the side of the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's Dante DiVincenzo. He's not going to be able to play in this game here. Very convenient that he won't be able to play in this game. I think it was something similar in that first matchup. I think Brunson was out, and it was just Karl Anthony Towns, but it was a Karl Anthony Towns show back in Minnesota. That's what happened in that first game. This game here, we'll see what happens. But Dante DiVincenzo will be out. New York Knicks dealing with some injuries. No Mitchell Robinson, no Kevin Mueller, and Karl Anthony Towns is a game time decision. We'll see if he'll be able to give it a go here in this matchup against his former team for the second time. All right. So that first game here, in Minnesota, that was a complete blowout there by the New York Knicks, and that was a huge game from Karl Anthony Towns in that one back in where he started from. This particular game here is going to be in New York, and I'm telling you right now, I believe Julius Randle is going to be the guy that's going to go off for this one, all right? No Dante DiVincenzo, that's fine. They still got Anthony Edwards, and I believe that Julius Randle is going to make his mark in this particular spot here, all right? Looking at some of the public bet percentage here, no data yet on money line or point spread, but for the total points, we have 93% of the bets and 93% of the money towards that over 220.5. I would agree on that. I do see this game as a very high scoring environment. I have not been impressed with the New York Knicks right now. With their defense right now, they've been giving up a ton of points, and they very lackluster performances here against Detroit. Obviously, they got blown out by OKC. That's fine. But what happened in that game against Philly, they really had no one starting, just like Tyrese Maxey, and they really took them to overtime. It was kind of an embarrassing performance. They almost lost that game as well, the New York Knicks there. So that didn't impress me at all. And what I'm seeing from this defense here, because the minutes that Tom Thibodeau is playing his starters, it's 40 minutes for everybody, all right? And they're getting a little bit tired legs here right before the All-Star break. And I think the value here is going to be on the side of Minnesota. They have a bench to go to. Naz Reid can step up as well. And give me the Timberwolves at the plus 3.5. For the total, love the over 220. And I expect Julius Randle to show up huge in this one. In TD Garden here, we have the Boston Celtics 28-12. Going to be against the Orlando Magic 23-19. Looking at the current odds for this game here, Celtics minus 650 on the money line with the comeback of the Magic at a plus 450, point spread at an 11.5, total points set at 210.5. Public bet percentage here, no information as of right now for money line or point spread, but for the total points, we have 93% of the bets, 94% of the money towards the over 210.5. For the injury report here, a lot of injuries obviously on the side of the Magic, all right? And this is just too much. It's just too much that they have to deal with right now, despite the fact that Paolo Banchero is back. That's great. But you're missing Jalen Suggs is out. Gary Harris is out. Goga Batadze is out. And Franz Wagner is out. So you're really decimated at that center position and at the guard position. You're starting and backup guards. You're down to your third string and fourth string here with guards and shooting guards here. And that does not bode well when you're going up against the Boston Celtics here. I get it. I understand how bad this Celtics team has played as of late in the 4 out of their last 5 games. Well, 3 out of the last 5 games, all losses. Lost to Toronto, who's healthy now. Lost to Sacramento, who's just getting hot with their new coach. And then lost to the Thunder. So you can kind of give them a little bit of excuses for those games. Maybe the Toronto game is not excusable, but they did have a win over Denver. They blew them out by 12, and then they did win against New Orleans, but that came down to the wire, and it was only a 1-point win there. Orlando Magic, they've struggling. They're still getting everyone back healthy. Paolo Banchero came back, but other than that, they've lost to Minnesota, Milwaukee, and then Milwaukee again. All right, they did get a win over the Philadelphia 76ers, but they are one of the they're just bad. They're just bad. They're trying to figure out what they're doing, if Embiid's playing or not, if Drummond is playing or not, if Paul George is playing or not. There's too much turmoil there in Philadelphia here. For the first matchup between these two teams, Magic did get a 4-point win in that game in December 23rd. This game, I see that this is going to come out, definitely be a different outcome. And Vegas came out with the line at 11.5. All right, so if you lost trust in the Celtics, Vegas did not. They set this line exactly over double digits and significantly here at 11.5. All right, I'm going right back to the well to the Celtics. Magic is on the second game of a back-to-back as well. That doesn't bode well for them, and now they got to go over to Boston and face a pretty angry Boston Celtics team that's going to be fully healthy. All right, back home in the Garden, I think they cover that 11.5. The question is going to be the total. I don't see Magic scoring 100 points. They really struggled to score, only 93 against Milwaukee. They did get 106 against Milwaukee the first time, 89 against Minnesota. So it could come close to that range. I would lean towards the over 210.5. That's a lean. That's not my favorite play. My favorite play is going to be the Celtics and the cover here, taking advantage of a very, very significantly injured Magic team here. In Smoothie King Center here, we have the New Orleans Pelicans 10-32, going up against the Utah Jazz 10-29. Looking at the current odds for this game here, we have the Pelicans as home favorites, big home favorites, minus 375 on the money line with the comeback of the Utah Jazz at a plus 300. Point spread here set at 8.5. Total points at 228.5. All right, so this team here, the reason why this line is so, this point spread is so big here is because of the injury report for the Utah Jazz. They're dealing with a ton of outs. Almost their starting 5 here. No Walker Kessler, no Lauri Markkanen, no Johnny Juzang, no Michael Potter. So no starting center, no backup center, no starting power forward, and no backup power forward here in John Collins. they're decimated down low here. All right, no, that's a lot of outs at center and power forward here. No Johnny Juzang, no Michael Porter. All right, for the Pelicans, no Brandon Ingram and no Herbert Jones. We're waiting on news about DeJounte Murray. All right, for the New Orleans Pelicans. All right. The Pelicans have been playing much better basketball here. Looking at them, their last 5 games, won 3 out of their last 5 games, and almost beat the Boston Celtics in Boston as well. So much better basketball here from New Orleans. This is a team that did get back Zion Williamson, and they're playing with a little more confidence here and actually winning games finally after a very, very poor start. Utah Jazz still dealing with a ton of injuries. Lauri Markkanen is in and out. And right here, as you can see, they've lost 4 out of the last 5 games. Some embarrassing losses here. The only win was against the Brooklyn Nets, who they've totally given up, and this is one of the worst teams in the NBA as well. All right, so this game here, I have full confidence here in the New Orleans Pelicans. Love the money line. All right, I'm going to post Pelicans money line as the main play. 8.5 is a high number, but the way that the Utah Jazz are coming to this current position here, if DeJounte Murray is definitely in, I have full confidence in the Pelicans covering this 8.5. And the 228.5 is a very high number. Could they get to that with all the guys that are out? Majority of these games, when they're scoring 120, that is with Lauri Markkanen in the game. Without, I don't think they can get to that number. I would go under 228.5. I think that's too much to ask for with the third string power forward and centers there. It would have to be a very, very heavy lifted game by the guard play here of the Utah Jazz to get you close to this 228.5. So I would go under 228.5 and Pelicans money line. In Kaseya Center here, we have the Miami Heat 20-19, Denver Nuggets 24-16 in this matchup here, East versus West. Looking at the current odds here, Heat are home favorites, -145 on that money line with the comeback of the Nuggets at a +120, point spread at a 2.5, and total points at 224.5. All right. Looking at the injury report here, there could be some positive news coming on the side from the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic did miss the previous game against the Rockets. Right now he's a game time decision. Aaron Gordon a game time decision. Jamal Murray a game time decision. Vlatko Cancer is out, and then Deron Holmes is out for the season. All right, so positive news could be on the horizon with Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray here in this spot for the Denver Nuggets. The Miami Heat dealing with a few outs. Josh Richardson out, and Drew Smith out for the season as well. But we do have a disclaimer here for the Miami Heat. The Jimmy Butler suspension is now over, and it's sounding like he's going to come back to the team and play. He's not going to sit out all the way to the February 6th trade deadline. He wants to show other teams, obviously, he has plenty left in the tank. So it could be possibly a huge trade coming up very soon here. We have a motivated Jimmy Butler in this spot. Could be. We have to wait on news. We need confirmation on the injury report for Denver Nuggets in this game with Jokic, Murray, and Gordon. And then we need confirmation on Jimmy Butler. So a lot of things here are weighing on this particular game here. But technically right now, the Vegas line has the Heat as home favorites at 2.5. This is the same exact line as we seen in the first matchup when the Nuggets were home favorites, 2.5. Total right around the same number. This one was 221. Right now it's at 224. That game went over in that one. I expect a very competitive environment here if we get everyone in this game to play. Right, if we see Jimmy Butler, if we see Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, then I like the Miami Heat in this game with Jimmy Butler coming back, and I like the over on the total. All right. If we do not have some of these key factors in here, then I would lean more towards the Nuggets. All right. But if we get Jimmy Butler in this game, give me the Heat. I'll take them on the money line. You don't have to touch the point spread. Just give me the money line. The money line's low enough. And for the total, I would take the over if we get Jimmy Butler and Nikola Jokic. Matter of fact, without them, I like the total over pretty much anyway. It doesn't matter. But it flips if we get no Jimmy Butler, obviously. All right. So Jimmy Butler in, we're taking the Heat and we're going over 224. Without Jimmy Butler, we're taking the Nuggets and over 224. In American Airlines Center here, we have the Dallas Mavericks 22-19 going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder 34-6. Looking at the current odds for this game, we have the OKC Thunder as road favorites, minus 250 on the money line, with the comeback of the Mavericks at a plus 200. Point spread here just moved. It was at 6.5. Now it was at 5.5 here. Down. It went down to 5.5, and the money line went down as well to 225 instead of 250. Mavericks are at plus 185. So live line movement here, total at 222.5 as well. So things could have changed. We'll see what happens. Well, I'll talk to you. We'll see in a second about this injury report here. Let's go to it right now. So injury report. Let me see if I can refresh this. Maybe something just occurred for that movement to happen. A whole point just jumped down. Let's see. So far right now for the injury report, OKC Thunder. This is the second game of a back-to-back for the Thunder. They just beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. So you get up for that game. Obviously, you want revenge on that one. This could be a little bit of a sleepy spot here for the Thunder, traveling to Dallas here on the second game of a back-to-back. No Isaiah Hartenstein here in this game. Nikola Topic's out for the season. Chet Holmgren's out, and Ajay Mitchell is out as well. For the Dallas Mavericks, no Derek Lively, no Dante Exum, and no Luka Doncic. Kyrie Irving could be back in this game, and that's very critical here, all right? Because I'll tell you in 1 second, these two teams have already played twice this year. They tied the series 1-1. First game going towards Dallas, and then the second game was during the NBA Cup. That game went towards the OKC Thunder in a blowout. Both games were in OKC. This game here is in Dallas, all right? Now, that first particular matchup on November 17th is very similar to what we got here. Not in the venue-wise, but in the fact that no Luka Doncic played in that game. As you can see, no Luka Doncic. It was Kyrie Irving, Quentin Grimes, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington had a huge game, and then the bench really showed up for the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, Daniel Gafford, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jaden Hardy, and Najee Marshall were the co-contributors here in this spot. And then the same thing happened with the Thunder. This is a team in the Thunder that had no Isaiah Hartenstein. So we have a very similar set of circumstances here in this game here. And as you saw, that line just jumped down a whole point. All right, so you could have missed out on value already. I think the value here, if we get Kyrie Irving confirmed in, I want to hop on the line now before it does happen because it might drop some more. But I'm going to go with the Mavericks on the plus 5.5. We saw the line movement live on video right here, jump down from 6.5 or 6 to 5.5 here. Give me the Mavericks here in a spot to catch the Thunder off guard after getting a big win off against the Cavaliers. Plus 5 on the Mavericks here, plus 5.5. And for the total, I'm going to go over 222.5. All right, I expect a high scoring environment, very similar to what we saw in that first game. Like I say, same circumstances here. I think a very similar result here. Most of these games have been around that 220 plus range anyway between these two teams. So give me Mavericks plus 5.5 and the over on 222.5. Last but not least here in Frost Bank Center, San Antonio Spurs 19-20 going up against the Memphis Grizzlies 26-15 here. Looking at the current odds for this game, we have the Grizzlies as road favorites, minus 140 on the money line, with the comeback of the Spurs at a plus 115. Point spread at a 2.5, total points at 239.5. Injury report here for these two teams right now: John Morant, game time decision; Vince Williams out; Cam Spencer out; and Marcus Smart out. For the San Antonio Spurs, Jeremy Sochan is out, and Riley Minix is out for the season. All right, so very similar here. Sochan missed the last game. These teams just played. All right, they literally just played on the 15th, so yesterday, 2 days ago now. And they set the line exactly the same. All right, Grizzlies 2.5, total at 239. Look at what the spread was the other day. Grizzlies 2.5, total 239. In these these back-to-back situations, they're not even switching home to home. They're staying in San Antonio. So you're telling me that the Spurs are facing the Grizzlies. They just lost to them by double digits in that first game, and now in this particular game here, same exact spread, same exact total. You think you're going to get the same exact result? Not I, Popeye. We're not taking that. We're going with the San Antonio Spurs to bounce back in that spot here. I love the Spurs on the point spread here. If you want to take the money line, go ahead. I like it there. I think they bounce back in this game here. They're not losing back-to-back games, or not at least not showing up in back-to-back games. That first game, that was a blowout that happened on Wednesday, 14-point loss. This is going to be considerably a better effort here from San Antonio, and this is a strong team at home as well. And San Antonio Spurs, they're 12-9 at home. Memphis Grizzlies are very up and down and shaky on the road. They're 11-10. So both teams slightly over 500, and this is a spot that they can take advantage of. All right, love the Spurs on the money line. I love the Spurs to plus 2.5, and for the total, the first game winner under. The key component for the Spurs is strong defense, especially at home. Give me the under 239.5. All right, so those are going to be our selections for the Friday slate. If you want the breakdown of that Bulls-Hornets game, I'm going to post it down below. So guys, if you want to sign up for the Patreon, that link is provided for you down below. Get connected. Go to that description, click the link, get connected. Like I said, you're getting access to daily bets, future bets, and access to that group chat that goes off 24/7. You need to get ready for this weekend in the divisional round of the playoffs, and we have the college football final as well. If you want to find out the futures on those for the NFL and for college football, you can go right now. Right now, click the link, get connected. This is your boy Chef D. I'll be back very soon. Peace out.